But yeah, when you find a girl that you like and she has big boobs, you got to use all your willpower to control your instincts to not look at those things.
You get to look at them, touch them later if you do it right.
That's right. So you got to look at that. You got to maintain eye contact. And what happens is, girls with big boobs, they're just used to those things constantly being gawked at by other women, by boys, old men, old women, little kids, teachers. Everybody's
you get
looking
your eyes
at,
caught too.
Everybody's looking at these knockers.
You just get caught like they're a magnet. Like,
everybody's looking at these big things, and that is not your fault. You are genetically programmed to want to like those things. So, but you got to control yourself. And what happens is girls that have big boobs, if you start looking them in the eye and you're not looking at their boobs, like, hey, what's in their head? They're like, hey, what's going on? Why isn't this guy looking at my boobs? Why doesn't he like them? And then all of a sudden it flips the script and they want you to look at their boobs. And then they're like, hey, why don't you come play with these boobs of mine? Then we'll see if you can stop looking at them.
Why don't you soap them up and motorboat them?
Yeah. So try not to look at the boobs. Make eye contact at all times.
Together and hold them with one hand if they're not.
If you can do that for a long enough time period, eventually you could be the lucky individual that gets to play with those boobs in real life. Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast.
That's the good stuff. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Candyman, with my co-host, Danny D and Macka. Today is an exciting episode for all you hip-hop people out there that like hip-hop. What are you, hip-hop heads? Is that what you?
Hip-hop heads.
Hip-hop heads. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about hip-hop today. And then Danimal has a service announcement, and Mac is going to give us...
Don't.
Mac, yes,
I
you
just
said...
want to say regulators, mount up.
Regulators, mount up. That's a throwback. It's an 80s throwback and a 90s throwback.
90s throwback.
90s.
Depending on how you look at it.
Right.
Because it's from Young Guns.
That's about my rap era, like where I remember the words to stuff is like
That's where you cap
like
out.
Biggie and maybe Eminem, but like my wife was showing me, I'd never heard Lil Wayne. I never heard Nicki Minaj when she played it for me.
What? You never heard Nicki Minaj?
I'm a metalhead. I don't listen to that shit.
I hear
I'll
you. I'll
never listen to rap by myself ever. And not anything against it. It's just I won't listen to it by myself.
I get you. I got you.
It won't be on the radio. I'll listen to it with my wife because she plays it and controls the radio.
Fair enough.
I'm actually hiding out here from my wife right now because she's been attacking me sexually.
Showed up.
I don't have anything left.
Shows up today.
Please,
Like,
no more.
shows up
no
today
more.
and says, "Look, I got nothing left." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I've been raped 15 times in 2 days, literally." He's like,
Literally 15 times in 4 days.
Damn.
I have nothing
catching
left.
up.
And I think it like
Shooting
sucks
air.
the testosterone out of my body. Like
He's running on empty.
yeah.
You gotta build.
I need to recharge.
You gotta
I need to
recharge
recharge.
those batteries.
Last night I was like feeling kind of sick, and she's like, "I don't care."
Just sit there.
I'm talking a big game too. I wanted to too, of course, but eventually though,
You're not a machine.
I'm not a machine. No,
I'll tell you what.
I'm a man.
Comparatively to other people your age, you are a sex machine.
Oh, we were joking because like you're always joking about us like having sex like rabbits, and like that's not always the case. But this weekend, it's been the case.
I mean, 15 times in 4 days.
Yeah, it's been like crazy. It's like wake up, afternoon, blah blah blah.
Can I ask
night.
what is the length of these interactions? Are they quickies? Like
No.
2 minutes? Like
No.
See you in 20 minutes. See you in an hour? Or
No.
you guys are going at it all
For
day.
like a while. Yeah.
So what are the rest periods? Like you take like
No, there's rest periods. They're more long instances than actually like short back to back.
Gotcha.
At least for me, I just can't do it.
Well, you're only a man.
Yeah, I'm only a man. I can handle quite a bit though. I was worried last night that I was going to kill myself, to be honest.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, I was worried that because I'm really nervous that I'm going to have like an arrhythmia and my heart's going to stop during sex, because then she'll never let me go crazy again.
Yeah.
What if like
So like I'm like, oh fuck.
what if like you're having like some kind of a heart attack, arrhythmia, and you go like,
and I get
at
shocked.
the same time, she's like having an orgasm, squeezes you and wraps you up hard in like a jujitsu hold.
Yeah.
And you die, but she gets off.
Well, if I die inside of her, I will get shocked and she'll feel it.
Oh, it's a 2 for 1.
30. Yeah, it's
that would be insane.
You know that bees. I've been learning about bees, and the mating habits of bees is amazing. But the female flies up in the air somewhere high up, like 300 feet, some shit like that, and she just starts spitting out the scent, and bees from all over come, literally, and the bees from all over the place get to the queen, and they start pumping her literally full of semen in the air. And she has like a storage jar inside of her.
Doesn't she rip the dick off?
No, listen. This isn't like the language that was in the bee book, but I'm just breaking it down into like street terminology. But like when the male bee like busts his nut, he like gets like some sort of shockwave and he dies. He like gets stung with like a chemical gets released. He like releases his juice and he just dies. I'm like, that's not a horrible way to go at all. And then the queen is like has like a internal pouch that gets filled up with all the mixture of all these different guys, male bees semen, and she actually like keeps it warm and keeps it inside her for like a week or 10 days, and then she starts like laying eggs through this like substance, and it fertilizes them on the way out. What kind of a fucking system is that?
How the hell did that happen?
Crazy.
I'm just going off of what I heard, but
rumors could not be true.
Speaking of rumors, here. Do you have your current events for Dan and I to decipher? We're playing a game. What's the game?
This is
It literally should be called That Might Not Be a Real Thing.
This is called That Might Not Be a Real Thing.
The game.
The game. The game.
The game.
Till further
Coming
notice.
soon.
Till further notice.
The board game.
So look, a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of things going around this country, but
you said on the way in there's some bad stuff going on.
A lot of bad stuff.
You didn't want to talk about current events because there was too much negativity.
No.
What bad stuff?
No. I just there's a lot of the bigger headlines are surrounded around like some violent stuff. So
really,
specifically Israel and Palestine.
Well, what's going on there?
Well, they just had an 11-day war
skirmish.
Who won?
I think Israel won.
Nobody.
But nobody really won.
Everybody lost.
Right. And I don't know a lot about it to speak on it.
I think I support Palestine.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people do, and there's a lot of controversy around it, and not a lot of like people don't know the facts, and I don't know the facts, so I can't say.
I think they got fucked over.
Yeah.
What little I know about it, they got fucked over.
Right. So I don't know though. So I don't.
I'm with you, Dan. I'm like basically.
Yeah. Don't a lot of people support Israel though?
Yeah, a lot of people support Israel. The United States government supports Israel financially and with weapons. So
I think they were.
But there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of different history and things that go back. Before this has been going on for a long time.
The U.S. had a pretty heavy hand in placing. In creating that scenario in the begin with, right? They were like, okay, we got to put you guys somewhere here.
Well, they were probably like, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
We want to go back to our religious lands.
At this point, I just don't understand why that can't coexist. Like, this has been going on way too long.
That's right. I mean,
my entire life.
Again, it's super complicated, and there's a lot of history and a lot of
their
reasons.
Land, though, right? The Palestinians, it's their
land.
Well,
I don't know. So,
who?
I know parts of it. If you look at history from 1,000 years ago, there were Jewish people there, and then there's history from now. There was Muslim people there. So,
do you know whose land it belongs to? Whoever has the strength to hold it and keep it. That's the rule of the land since day one.
Yeah, but they was just given to them though. They didn't conquer it.
And there was an agreement.
Fine. Now they have to have the strength to hold it.
It was a really fucked up agreement. I don't know much about it.
Me neither. So that's why I don't want to get into it because babies are dying, and I don't want to make light of that. So.
All right, that does suck.
Yeah,
big time.
Kids are dying on both sides. So.
Yeah. Well, we went to school with those. Was it Yuri and Elad, the basketball players from Israel? And they were
UML dudes, yeah,
UML kids, and these dudes came from Israel to play hoops at UMass Lowell because it was like a D2 school for hoops.
D2 at that time, yeah.
And I think they won the championship or something.
They were in it was D1A because they didn't have D2 maybe.
Were they good at basketball?
These two kids were good, yeah. They had full scholarships.
The time we were in They were good. They were in at least the Final Four of the championship. I don't know if they won though.
So I knew these kids before 9/11 happened.
Do you want to bet what Donkey Kong graduated with? Engineering.
Yeah, big time. Master.
That's
There's
because
an engineer out there right now named Donkey Kong.
Do you guys want to cover that real quick so people know what the fuck?
No, I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah, but just as in case, Dan D and I graduated next to each other.
Yeah, we
sat next to each other, and a young man his name was Don Key Kong.
Happened to be Asian.
He got named by his parents wherever he lived, and they had no clue they were naming their son Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Right.
It's awesome.
But it just so it was,
and we cracked up. I could not hold my laughter in the whole fucking graduation. Yeah. I was like, his name is Donkey Kong.
Right. And he was graduating with a fucking PhD in fucking some science I've never heard of. So
Donkey Kong.
Cheers to him.
Probably making bank.
Oh yeah, he's making like $500,000. He probably invented some shit. But his name's Don. They said Don Key Kong, and me and Dan were like, we both just looked at each other right in the eyes.
Oh my god! I still laugh about it. I'll just be sitting there and I'll just giggle.
There are a lot of like people that have funny names, and just think about like all the ceremonies that have happened over the course of history, where some guy has to get up there and say this person's name, and they're like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Foop you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly.
All right. So what I have for you today. All right. So here's what we got. All right. Since February, hold on, let me get my notes.
2021 February.
2021 February, and this might make sense. Actually, let me just make sure
because it's the year 2021.
So
now.
Since
it's the future.
So obviously, traveling during this period of time, but since February, there have been 1,300 reports of disturbing behavior on airplanes.
Wait a second.
I'm about to fly this week.
Disturbing behavior on airplanes.
Yeah, and maybe the correct terminology is that it was unruly.
People punching each other?
Disturbances. So this means like
that sounds like a lot. People don't
interfering with pilots or flight attendants.
For what?
So 1,300. You can probably imagine that some people had problems with wearing masks.
Well, yeah, because you have to fly forever and you're sitting there with a fucking mask, breathing your own breath all flight. It sucks.
So 1,300 unruly passenger reports from airlines since February, okay? In the previous decade, the agency said it took enforcement actions against 1,300 passengers total. So since February 2021.
In 6 months, less than 6 months.
That's way too many people.
1,300 people, more than the history of they've been keeping track of it. I don't know. That's a tough call because in my mind, I'm like, the number's too high.
Way too high.
I don't want to.
How many flights are there in that time?
Probably less now because of less people traveling, but
flying is super routine, right? Like I'm worried about flying for the first time in like 5-10 years, and like I know how routine it is. Like I shouldn't worry. It's like every day they're flying fine.
But that like you're not supposed to play no shit on an airplane. Like
they don't let you.
You can't fuck around.
You can't be a dick. You can't do anything like that.
Yeah, there's like no one fucks around on planes. So like to me it sounds like 1,300 is way too many people to actually cause a disturbance on a plane.
Most people know not to fuck around on the plane.
Let me add this. The reason why this is like a big thing right now is because there were 4 specific events that took place recently that weren't obviously terrorist events, because then everyone would hear about it. For 4 passengers are facing $70,000 in fines for fucking around on flights and fucking with the flight attendants.
Like Mile High Club, they were in the bathroom doing it.
No.
Smoking weed,
like either being that upset,
you know what?
At
combative with a
flight attendant, either from being fucked up off booze or other shit, and like what? So like recently, Southwest has stopped serving alcohol
because people have been out of control,
and specifically because this woman punched a flight attendant in the mouth.
Jeez.
Oh,
all about
God.
a mask. And this woman, she fucked this woman.
Why? She didn't want to wear a mask?
I can't imagine that happening.
She must have gone on the plane, though, knowing she had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people are still fighting about that. Like,
It's like, just fucking wear it.
it sucks. I'm so
does
happy.
suck.
But whoa, on a positive note, we no longer
Not
have
on
to wear
planes,
them in
though.
masks,
Longer
right?
have
Not
Right.
on planes. I'm going to have to wear one on a plane for
But
California.
Yeah, but like you said, what are you going to do, you know?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that? Nothing you can
People
do.
have been
just
doing
put
that
it
for
on.
years anyway, though.
It's so stupid, though, because you can take them off to eat and stuff. You breathe the air, and it's like, what are you reducing?
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
know. It's,
exactly.
It's the science part to it is just absurd and stupid.
Right.
Like, it's like,
agree.
you might as well stick a mask over your butthole. Like, so your butthole doesn't breathe dirty air.
Right.
Like, I can fart. There it
Yeah.
is. Poop.
Yeah.
Mentioned it both. Let's go.
Got him. All right. So
Got him in.
Well, my vote is that is... See, because you can play this with us with like little bits of truth, a little bit of fiction, and I don't like that. It should either be a totally made up story or...
Yeah, because I think this one is...
I think you're just puffing the numbers.
I don't think this one is true.
I'm with Dan. I think
So what parts don't you think are true?
I think the numbers are untrue.
Because I think we can guess.
Wait, I might have seen one fight on Reddit, though, with a chick and somebody, like a vicious fight, brawl on an airplane, which is insane that somebody would do that. It's just not the place to do it, and you're trying to get somewhere.
It's people.
You gotta bury your
It's got to
pride.
be people that were born after 9/11. Because like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and like
You know what the consequences are.
and like you're so happy to fly somewhere, and you gotta get there. Why would you fucking risk it by punching somebody? Like, people have this weird pride, like, where they
People
can
are
defend
crazy.
themselves. They're fucking crazy.
It's
Well-
because they're cocked.
Airports too, like people don't like waiting in lines. They they lose it if they have to wait in line or wait a long time. So if you're like Diamond Dallas Page all weekend posted nonstop shit about how shitty Delta was and how they'd been like stuck in this plane and couldn't get off, and like they were definitely having altercation. So I don't know, Mac. I don't know what to tell you. I will tell you that what is a real thing. If that list had been just a few years earlier, I would have been on said list. But this is the difference between flying international and flying like domestic. Okay, like I guess it depends on like who you're flying with. Like I imagine the United Arab Emirates might not have looked so kindly on me as Japan Airways did. But like I was taking like I was flying to Bangkok, but you have to go to Japan on the way over there, and it's like a 10 or 12-hour flight, depending on where you go from, and whatever. I needed to smoke, and I couldn't smoke weed, but I had my vape cartridges with me, so I went in the bathroom.
Just hit them.
I went in the bathroom and
dude.
vaped and set the alarm off over the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
You did?
Yep, and then I go back to my chair, and I'm like, oh, I'm in big fucking trouble.
Wait, you didn't blow it into like a
I did,
jacket
dude.
or
They
something?
just have extremely,
This is good to know.
This is
because
extremely sensitive
I was definitely
sensors.
going to use my vape on the plane
So,
secretly. So
well-
I'm not going to now. I'm going to get nicotine.
Well, listen,
Smart.
here's what I did, right? I was like, listen, nicotine addicts are the worst. They always need it, right? And so I can't be the first person to pull this one off.
Oh yeah.
Secondly, I didn't think that the Japs knew about the... Secondly, I didn't think the Japanese people knew about marijuana cartridges. So I was like, but they definitely knew about vapes, and they'll probably think it's just that. So I go back to my seat, and one of the stewardesses comes up to me, and she's like, excuse me, and she's like apologizing to me that I set the alarm off, breaking the rules in the airplane, right? She's like, so sorry. She's like, just want to make sure there wasn't a real fire. You were only vaping or something in there, right? And I was like, yeah, you got me. I was using my vape pen. I'm sorry. I need it. It's been a long flight. She's like, no problem. Just, we have to be sure because for safety. And I was like, God, if that had happened in the U.S., they would have been like, oh, you're banned from Delta.
They would have landed the plane.
Air Marshal would have had
Instead
me
of just keep
cuffed.
flying, they would have been like,
They would have
we're
been,
landing the plane. You're getting arrested.
You're disturbing the plane.
They would rather land it than just keep going.
Yeah, they wouldn't take any chances.
But they are fucking nuts, though, and they're rude, too.
So-
and they're mean and they're nasty.
So fly Japan Airways if you need to, if you have the chance to, because they are great.
I'm so good at
Yeah, they let
that
you
I heard
vape.
this. Because, like, if I vape into my jacket and nothing comes out, like if I do, that's what you did?
Yeah, but your vape's definitely gonna set off, dude. That thing releases it's like a cloud. Mine,
Yeah, no, look, nothing.
yeah, well, that's 1. Do 10.
Well,
I'm not right now, but listen, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Chance it.
We're
if you feel like it. If you want to chance it on the...
You're right.
That might work, though.
You got a big... all right, so speaking of flights, what are you doing? You're going out, you're going to promote your hair business?
I'm getting flown out for a photo shoot of me.
These people want to shoot...
as a model.
Because you have awesome long hair?
I have awesome long hair, and I dress really cool, like a rock star, and my hair ties are horror hair ties, and I'm just the perfect man to do it. So
you are.
Getting
yeah,
it.
Dandy's a vibe.
Yeah.
He's a vibe,
So
he's a whole vibe.
And their whole culture, they don't have that vibe in their culture, like with all like the surfer type guys and all sorts of guys that are in there.
They've lost it.
So like, well, they just don't have anybody like that fits that role like me. So I'm going out there and I'm doing my thing.
But it's because you have...
I'll be in the podcast, too.
It's because of your line of hair ties, right?
Yeah, it's not my line. I designed them.
You designed.
So these guys already had the hair ties for guys.
This company...
You did a couple designs, and then they want to use them.
A 4-pack of designs.
I remember the story.
They created them. They made samples and prototypes, and they're going to be released soon. And actually, one of them is right here. This is one of the horror hair ties right here. So Mark Cuban owns 25% of the company, actually, and they were on Shark Tank. So they're, like, big time. So, and they have a lot of content and a lot of, like, there's a big community that's part of it. So.
All right, well.
All right, so first off, we're dancing around the answer here.
I already told you.
Partly true.
I think I'm with Dan. I think the number's too high, but I think it's partly true.
All right, which part?
Just like the whole thing is true, except that the numbers are too high. That's what I think.
So numbers of reports and numbers of fees and fines.
I have no idea.
Well, 4 people got $70K in fines or facing.
Who enforces that?
The fucking, I don't know, government.
Who do they owe it to?
The airlines.
I would never be able to pay that ever.
It's like, imagine if you do something that causes the plane to have to land early or whatever.
It's expensive,
and it's not a health thing. It's like a...
Gotcha. If the same scenario I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I said I would have made the list.
Yeah, you'd be like...
They would have
probably
fined
for
me.
you, be like 50, probably like $2,500.
It would be like, hey, asshole, you made us land early, and we had to spend these resources, and you scared everybody, and
right, yeah. And it's like, here's $15K.
It's okay,
See you later,
true?
motherfucker. Yeah, it's 100% true.
The whole thing's true.
The whole thing.
1,300 people.
1,300 reports.
That's a lot of incidents.
Over 6 months, less than 6 months, covers the full amount of 10 years of reports.
Yeah, but you are also dealing with probably on a national scale, the greatest level of civil unrest since the 60s.
Yeah.
You think that's true?
They stormed the Capitol.
Yeah, that shit.
Probably.
Not in my life have I seen any of the stuff that's gone on in the last 6 months. They were burning police stations, burning police cars, taking over stuff that the mob.
Storm the Capitol.
Yeah, storming the Capitol.
They stormed multiple capitals, like in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean,
both sides were.
You're dealing with.
I wouldn't even say. For me, the Black Lives Matter shit is not a side. In the political side, it's a different thing.
Oh, dude, that was a huge log in the fire.
It was a part of it, but like for me, that wasn't Trump versus Biden.
No, but
that wasn't election.
I'm saying
the storm the Capitol was election related,
right? But politics
related.
Mob mentality went berserk this year because people were they were fed up about like 20 different things at once. They were like, "Fuck you! The president election's rigged." Both of them were saying it for one better. Trump stole the original election. This guy's stealing this election.
It's all bullshit.
The dude got choked out. I can't breathe. All of a sudden, everyone's got to wear masks. All of a sudden, no one's allowed to go to work. I mean, it was an insane...
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up in, like, this is America. You get to do... laws were, like, suggestions. You get, like, infractions and, whatever. It's like, all of a sudden, things got serious here for a while. But what are you going to do? Anyway, enough of that jive.
People walking around with their wieners hanging out.
So that's true. So I'm like what was that? I'm like one point. Is that like a half win for me, I think?
No, it's 2. You're 2-0. If you want to.
No, because I think like if we talk about the Giuliani raid, like that happened, but like the part
you got me on that one.
Did you see a Borat with Giuliani? He brought him.
I did.
He laid back. They were like defending him. All the Republicans like he was just laying back, stretching. No, he was ready to take his pants off. That's what I saw. He was thinking this young girl was gonna play with his ding dong, his old ding dong. Like
maybe
let me take a Viagra and wait 2 hours.
Maybe it was a reflex, and he had to stop himself from doing it.
Yeah.
Like he was like, oh, can't do that.
Yep.
Like that's not his fault.
I
That's
think
a
he was
reflex.
going to present his penis. He was going to present it like a gift. Like, here you go.
Here it is.
This is it. I ran New York City at one point.
Right.
This is my old groggy penis. My leopard dick.
Hey, there's only a few cases known leopard dick.
Calcified leopard dick.
He doesn't have it. Don't you dare put that on him. All right, so we wanted to talk a little bit about hip hop this week. I thought since listen to the first episode of our podcast, Macka, and you were like saying you're a hip hop head and that you're a curator of things,
physical
and
collections.
Yeah, that's what the guy at the museum that collects stuff is, right? The curator.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should contribute to a list of like the 5 best, right?
We're gonna come up with that list. But I interestingly enough, like I came up with my own list.
Yeah.
And then when I Googled the thing, like everyone that I named was on that list. So
I have a list.
My list is close.
Right. Well, here's the deal. Like, I think the classic conversation of when it comes to hip hop is who are the top 5 greatest rappers, dead or alive.
Yeah. A lot of them are dead.
Hip hop artists.
So at this point, hip hop's getting old. So, and there at times where there was a lot of violence. There still is surrounding around hip hop artists.
Hip hop was pretty new when we were kids.
Very new.
Very new. Now it's like decades. They're like the cool rappers are old.
Snoop Dogg's like 50, man.
The cool rappers that we know are fucking old.
Yep.
Barely relevant.
It's hard to make a top 5 too of those.
They
rappers.
still got it.
I agree.
They still got it.
Really hard. Because like you got some of them that are dead that are just on the list immediately, and it's like it's almost like you should do like greatest living and greatest dead.
I do not like when any musical artist dies young and everyone just says like they're the best of all time, and it's like, were they really, or is it just because they died? And you're like, example, Hendrix. I've heard guitar players from back then say that Hendrix was like this amazing, unbelievable genius on a guitar,
right?
But I've listened to his music, and I'm like, all right, guy's playing a guitar, I get it.
Right.
But I wouldn't put him up there with like Van Halen.
Oh, I love it though. There's different things I love.
But at the time, what he was doing was like,
I get you.
So innovative.
I have to have a different list. Like I have a list of classic rock I love. I have a list of like heavy metal from the 80s I love, like alternative rock and grunge. Like I can't like just
there
have
are a lot of
top 5 lists of rock
subgenres.
Like I love the Doors, but I also love like Van Halen, Motley Crue, and Guns N' Roses, and I love Nirvana and Alice in Chains.
Right.
I got you. Do you love anyone in the hip hop world? Because that's what I want to focus on.
Hip hop? Oh yeah, okay. There's the first album I like.
Who would you actually listen to?
Well, Kanye. I listened to Kanye when I was getting clean because there's a song "Flashing Lights," and that was like my anthem for like just like feeling good about my life and making myself better. But I love Eminem.
That's interesting because
Love Eminem.
I want to hear Macka's list if you have one prepared.
Well, what are we doing? Are we doing solo artists? So
we talked earlier. It's tough because you were saying earlier about artists.
You could be a solo artist and or an artist that is in a group.
It can be a group. It can be anything you want. So in the beginning, late 70s, early 80s, that you had rap. Yeah.
I would say early 80s, late 70s, like
Sugar Hill Gang hit the scene like.
Yeah, there was
early 80s
hit radio play
out in like California.
Nah, they were New York guys, I think.
But I'm saying like there were a bunch of bands in like hip hop people in California.
Not then.
So New York is the seed.
Bronx.
New York's the seed of the whole thing.
New York started everything.
All right, so that's the history lesson, and from there, rap turned into different things, but basically it's called hip hop.
Hip hop rap, yeah.
So the rules there are no rules. It's just any hip hop artist
or
group
that is your favorite
that you think is just dynamite top 5.
Yeah, like top 5's tough though because like if you go group, then a group that I like has 9 members. And
I'm not asking. Sure. I'm not asking you to order them 1 through 5. I'm just asking you to give me the 5.
Top 5.
Just name them. What comes out of the holster? Like obviously Wu-Tang's in there. You said that,
right? But it's just hard. It's complicated.
Yeah, ODB.
Yeah, but should they be on the list over Tupac and Biggie? Probably not.
I put Wu-Tang above them.
I'm not asking you to put anyone.
Okay, so this is not a mainstream list then.
No.
Because a mainstream list would go Biggie, Tupac,
Jay-Z,
Eminem,
Nas,
Jay-Z,
Eminem.
Nas. Nas is awesome.
Yeah,
Wu-Tang's pretty mainstream.
But they're not.
Yeah,
top
no, they
five.
are, but they're not like Jay-Z mainstream.
Because solo, they didn't do what these guys did. Biggie, Tupac were all solo. Jay-Z, Nas, solo.
Talking about 9 creative minds contributing to something versus one person just trying
Well, that's where they made their biggest impact, and then they all had solo albums. But
what about LL Cool J?
I was thinking of him. I thought of him this week. I was like, he wasn't good enough, in my opinion, to make the list, but he was like...
Don't call it a comeback.
He was...
early on, he was a beast, though.
Oh, yeah, he was.
I know, but I think he had... I think he had some good stuff, and he
had a run.
He contributed to the history, and
what about Snoop Dogg?
He influenced. Snoop's got to be on the list.
Snoop's early albums, like Doggy Style, is so
Doggy
good.
Style album is one of the best albums of all time in the history.
The whole album.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about
one of the
it.
best albums of all time.
So
right now at the Jack Off Hour, this is DJ E. Dick.
We didn't know anything about that, but I knew it felt right.
Yeah,
when I was listening to
felt
Snoop,
so right.
I was like,
On
yo,
the station that
this
slapped you
feels
across
right.
your fat ass with a fat dick.
Yo, one
I
time...
listened to it as a kid, and I know that my mother shouldn't
that
have
first song, that song that started with someone burping and pissing into a fucking toilet.
Gin and juice.
Yeah.
So Macka and I were doing like a... we were doing a like an admin day one day, and you weren't here because, it's not your strong suit to play around the computer stuff, but like...
I don't do any of that shit.
Yeah, so...
Just give me a mic.
We're dealing
All
with
I need is one mic.
We're dealing with this stuff, and it's frustrating, and I'm getting like, fed up. And I just yell out of nowhere, can I get a motherfucking moment of silence for this small chronic break? And that was like Snoop Dogg just like... in my mind, I meant like, can I get a fucking break? But that's what I said.
To say it like
but
that.
That's what I said because I quoted like Snoop, and it was like out of nowhere, just bam.
Yeah.
So you're
all right. My top. Let me give you solo.
I've got two. You got Snoop.
That's on mine.
No.
Nah.
It's not on yours?
Okay.
Oh,
I love Snoop Dogg. My top 5.
Just to make
it's
the
not
cut.
even fair to make a top 5, is it?
It's very hard. It's because now we're bringing it up to a different level. But
not everybody makes it, man. Not everyone makes the list.
I know. So not in any order. So this is from me. All right. Because it gets tough in this because now we're talking actual talent and then sales and like how much of an impact you made. So for me, it's kind of a favorites list.
Yeah, that's what's
plus
supposed to be.
Talent plus what you did.
Just has to be your personal favorite.
All right, not in any order. Busta Rhymes.
Bust a bus.
Came out with, and what put him in that for me is his last album that just came out. And it's a fucking amazing album.
What last album? What one?
He just came out with them. It's called Extinction Level Event 2.
Sweet name.
Follow up from his classic 1999 Extinction Level Event 1.
So that came out in
That's kinda
99.
cool.
99, but it wasn't his immediate follow up. But
we're talking 22 years later. This cat dropped another album.
Well, he's dropped several in between, but
this is
the follow up.
This was a big one.
Everyone, because the older rappers are doing this thing now where they do part 2s of their classic albums.
Yeah, I like that song where you lay 6 feet under the ground. Ground.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
That's from Dangerous.
Yes, 'cause that's 97. That's where he's like, hit you with no delay and what you saying, yo. Woo!
If it
I
pleases,
thought he was going to go the whole verse.
if it pleases the court,
Dude, I can rap some more than I think when I thought,
there you
actually.
go. If it pleases the court, I'd just like to say for the facts that Busta Rhyme sampled or used the Sugar Hill Gang's Big Bank Hank specifically's rap when he said, "See, it's up my back, it's around my neck, woo-ha, got them all in check." That was actually Big Bank Hank from the 80s, and no
paying
one
homage.
And well, just saying. We mentioned, so there you go. All right, people influence other people. Busta Rhymes, go ahead.
Busta Rhymes, DMX.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my top 5. I don't think he's necessarily top 5 lyricist, talent wise. Jay-Z,
Yeah, he's on my list.
obvious. Tupac, and how do I end
Fuck
this?
over Biggie.
And Biggie.
It's a good list. I mean,
Yeah.
But like,
those two
if
have
I
to be
was
on
to
it.
take out 2, I would take out Tupac and Biggie.
I don't know enough
Really, I
about.
figured they'd have to be on it.
I don't know enough
Because now I would definitely add Kendrick Lamar. He's put out 3, maybe 3.5 fucking classic albums that you guys don't
Is
know
he a
about.
basketball player?
No.
He might play hoops, but
I don't know
But
who
he's
he is.
fucking
I have no
nasty.
clue who he is.
He's nasty, makes hits, and he's lyrically talented.
Drake didn't make your list.
Drake does not make my list, but
'Cause
he's a fucking superstar.
he's pretty hot.
And he makes dope.
What about
records.
Kanye? No.
So I was gonna say I'd put Kanye in, or Nas.
Nas.
Kanye.
But I
West.
don't love personally. I love Nas. He's great, but sometimes I don't like his albums.
Kanye West for president
But
2024.
Kanye and Kendrick would be my newer guys, and I would even make an argument for Lil Wayne.
Well, Eminem.
Eminem up there too, but again, like he was so good in the first half, and then he got sober, which is great. Good for
Yeah, but
him.
he wasn't a good sober, was he?
But I think he's good sober. He's really super talented.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear Eminem talking about how he's not afraid.
Yeah,
I want to
that's
hear him
what
talking
I.
about 2 pills that popped to my pupil, so I left like 2 pennies.
Yeah. So my thing with Eminem and Tupac was always that I couldn't gravitate towards Eminem and Tupac because so much of their music was very angry. It's just so fucking negative and angry. Like especially Tupac was one thing, but Eminem was like really, really negative. And I like when I turned him on, I'm like, yo, I don't enjoy listening to this clown. That being said, when him and Nate Dogg did that jam together, is it In the Club or what's it called? No, that's 50 Cent. It's shake that ass for me. Shake that ass for me. Is that the song?
I think so.
So that song's about like going to the club, getting fucked up, going home
Eminem's
with
that song too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Him and Nate Dogg did it. First of all, I just want to say shout out remembrance of Nate Dogg because that guy, you know what, he's like the Rock of you know how like the Rock can like they said he was like a franchise resurrector, like they put him in Fast and the Furious, they put him in G.I. Joe. Like if you just put the Rock in a movie, it'll do okay. Like
Was he in G.I. Joe?
Yeah, the second one. Nate Dogg was literally like one of the greatest people in hip hop in like from the time he hit until he checked out because that cat sang and like no one did that at the time, and every fucking track that dude was on was better because he was on it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
When you said Regulators Mount Up earlier, right? Danimal?
Yep.
That song was like Warren G's greatest hit, and the reality is if you took Nate Dogg off the track, it would not be good at all. It would be like,
Right. Yeah.
this guy's just some guy. Fuck it. So it's like you got to say like I'm not putting Nate Dogg on my list because
No, he's not.
He wasn't a rapper either. He's a singer.
Well, he's a hip hop artist.
He was like
I put it.
chorus.
He contributed.
You called him for Hook.
Time
Hook,
out.
yeah, Hook.
Are Lauryn Hill and the Fugees? Are they?
I would say Fugees, yes,
Fugees were so good.
because they rapped too.
Yeah, they were so good.
They were rhyming.
I know.
They only had
Wyclef.
2 albums.
Fugees is the one music that isn't rock that like brings me back to a certain time in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they have a fucking
90s.
classic album. One of the greatest albums of all time.
They redid "Staying Alive." That was awesome.
Yep.
They
That
did
was
"No
Wyclef.
Woman,
That was Wyclef.
No Woman, No Cry." That was a redo as well, but a cover. They call it a cover.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I mean, a lot of these people cover stuff, and I believe you can cover a song better than the original artist. Don't get me wrong, because like,
Well, they cover, but it's more like they use samples to reimagine it.
yeah,
Like
they might
Staying
have.
Alive was not a cover.
No, I understand that, but No
No,
Woman,
but
No
like,
Cry was pretty damn.
But if you go back to the '60s before these laws prevented it. Like
Copyright laws.
like Led Zeppelin.
they're stealing each other's
But
riffs.
like Disturbed did Sound of Silence recently.
Yeah.
And it's basically a cover though.
That's
they
a
didn't
cover,
they didn't
yeah.
sample it. It was a cover.
I don't know if it was
They
recent,
sang it again.
but they did it over the last like 10 years.
It sounds great. It's recent. It's like a couple years old.
Yeah, I
it's-
think so.
Yeah.
It's totally different than the original, but definitely good.
Yeah.
I listened to it today.
Disturbed?
I listened to it today.
I think it's better. I like it better.
There's
I like the
certain-
original too. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, no, I like the Disturbed version better, but the original has a certain like thing to it where you're like, okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of like death, like
Better when you're stoned.
something. Yeah,
Speaking of which.
every time I die, I wish I heard that. Like,
And it
cool.
where it came from and what was written, what was going on in the world.
Turbulent times like now. My list.
All right, top 5 solo. Well, are you guys doing solo? Because I'll do a top 5
I'm gonna
group
do
list
solo.
after.
I
you
was
guys
actually
do.
just gonna have you
I'll
give
do
us
mine
yours because I have mine, but they're all like.
Yeah, this is where it becomes funny.
yeah, let me give you mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my top list is pretty simple. It's Biggie, Tupac, DMX, Eminem, and I have one more. That's where
Is it Nas? You said Nas.
Nas. No, I'd say no. I'd say either Nas or I'll no Snoop Dogg.
Okay, there you go. I mean, Snoop Dogg is a legend.
Doggy Dog.
So
Snoop Lion.
So mine was really that I couldn't isolate Snoop Dogg and Dre. I just had to give the Dog Pound crew because that encompassed Nate Dogg as well.
Yeah, but Dre can't rap like Snoop can. He's more like a producer.
Dre had a couple of okay.
He did.
Dre had a couple of okay things, but yeah, but like I said,
Dre didn't write the lyrics.
Fine, and like I said, I'm not saying any one of these guys is one. I'm encompassing the Dog Pound gang as a whole.
There's some funny moments.
That's corrupt. You're adding corrupt. Daz Dillinger.
Corrupt's a fucking clown, but I'm throwing him in there, yeah.
Do you remember Dre's song when he came up with it came up with like the Chronic 2001 or something like that?
Yeah.
And he said, this is one song, he says, I just took some ecstasy. Ain't no telling what the side effects could be. Every time I listen to that, I'm like, I can tell you what the side effects will be.
Yeah, well, he's just like, trying to make a cool rhyme.
Right.
Trying to make a cool rhyme of it. But Dr. Dre had some pretty sweet videos.
Yeah.
Like
Let Me Ride.
Yeah.
You got the barbecue, little urban barbecue going with the 40s and the titties pulling out and the fucking lowriders bouncing up and down. Okay.
What's the one with the volleyball?
That's it.
Is that Let Me Ride or is that Nothing But a G Thing?
Nothing But a G Thing. That's what it is.
Dude, when Nothing But a G Thing, you fucking kidding me, man?
Right.
Dude, come
classic, man.
Dude, when that song comes on, I'm just immediately
one of the greatest songs.
Immediately,
flannels are big, right?
Yeah.
Like,
especially
they're
out
big
there.
now, but like they were like single button, like
one,
flannel.
2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr.
Chuck.
Dre is at your door. All right,
Ready to make an entrance.
Yeah.
Back on up,
dude. That's what I'm saying.
That's
the dog,
chronic one.
The Dog Pound gang is in my list.
Yeah,
and all
Dre,
their
I wouldn't put Dre in Dog Pound, but
didn't he produce them though?
he produced a little.
All right,
he wasn't their main
He's
guy.
part of their group. The Dog Pound gang. They're in my list.
You would probably be more accurate if you're going to include Dre. It would have to be Death Row.
I
Fine.
just should have done some
The
Death Row.
first,
Death Row was crazy.
first round of Death Row.
They were like the mafia, like for like a music producer. Like
Death Row Records. Yeah.
Prior to Tupac signing with them, because
I wanted to put Ice Cube on the list, but he didn't make it. But I do want to mention.
I love Ice
I do want to
Cube.
mention that he was a close runner-up.
I listen to Today Was a Good Day all the time.
Oh yeah,
What
me
a
too.
good song.
Me too. That video too. Again,
Ice Cube.
I didn't know about that life growing up. I know about it much more now, but like back then I was like,
Yeah.
this guy looks like what bikers would be if they weren't white guys with long hair. You know what I mean? They'd be driving lowriders in the city. So I don't know. I liked him.
I think in the next few years I'll be driving a muscle car.
I hope so.
Yeah, I definitely will.
All right, but I got Wu-Tang Clan was on my list because they just came out like fucking bah, and then they were like awesome.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, there's not enough females in rap, but you gotta like I gotta say, like Nicki Minaj doesn't put out a bad jam ever. Like when she puts out a song, she's so good
For her hits.
But she's so versatile. Like she does the little voices, she does the like talking to herself.
Yeah, we didn't
bits.
mention any females.
Yeah, because there's not as many
Nicki
in the
Minaj might
game,
probably
right?
the best, right?
And I was thinking today, I was like Missy Elliott. I was thinking about
Lil' Kim,
the Queen Bee, Lil' Kim.
What about
My kid was
Salt and
listening.
Pepper?
My kid was listening to Lil' Kim the other day. She's like, I was like, "What are you listening to?" She goes, "Lil' Kim," and I was like, "Fuck, I don't even want to know what song." Because like
Yeah.
I was thinking of like "Not Tonight," and she's like, and she's like, "Eat my
That's what
pussy
Cardi
right."
B's like now. She's like that.
Right?
Yeah, but
She's
Cardi
rough.
B and Nicki
Lil'
are way worse than
No, but
Well,
Lil'
like-
Kim was the first one to come out and do
I was
it.
asking my
No,
wife.
yeah.
I was like, is anybody
Mainstream.
worse? Like, is anybody like Cardi B? I'm like, is she the first one to rap like this besides Lil' Kim? My wife's like, oh no, you got to hear Nicki Minaj.
Nicki's so good.
Yeah, and then there's Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown and
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
MC Light. Shout out to MC
I
Light.
said Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott.
She had a
too.
couple real good ones.
MC Serge.
MC Light. I mean, Missy Elliott is a fucking superstar herself.
Now, for a one-hit wonder, I got a real good one.
Okay. Wait, what's your top five? You've how many have you mentioned?
Jay-Z,
So you said
all day.
Wu-Tang Clan, Jay-Z,
the Dog Pound Gang under the management of Death Row Records.
Yes. Okay.
They took Vanilla Ice and held him by his feet over a balcony.
And, Kanye, I think when I listen to him talk, and I filter out like the stuff that's crazy or whatever that's over the top. I really like what the guy has to say.
Yep.
And I like what he's trying to do with his power and his platform.
I like his style.
He doesn't make my list, but I respect the fact that he's cuckoo.
He kind of had like a preppy
he's like the Dennis Rodman
style, right?
He's like the Dennis
Not
Rodman.
anymore.
Not anymore. But compared to like his predecessors, like he had a very like upper class style.
Yes, he was like wearing collared shirts, like polos and shit.
Yes.
Do you think Kanye is like the Dennis Rodman of hip hop though? Like remember when he stole the mic from the Taylor Swift at the thing? Like that's something Rodman would have done. He would have gone nuts. So yeah, all right. So Jay-Z, the other two I already mentioned. Man, Fabulous almost made my list, but
wow,
that would have been F-A-B-L-O-U-S. Okay,
Can I just say,
great. But
I like seeing how fashion is like influenced, and like some of these guys like they go out on a limb for like their fashion, and it like trickles down to every fucking kid. Like it's like amazing how you can pinpoint it from one person. Like matching these types of shoes with this hat and this shirt. It goes like right down the line with these kids, like, and it's one person that started it basically, or one group of like.
I hope like little kids all over Drake are wearing hair ties for guys, but in 10 years,
and like
when
when
the boys are old enough to go to high school, I hope they start.
I think I'm the only one in town wearing a ring and a necklace made out of human bone and skull.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's probably true.
I'm gonna wear it on the airplane too.
I want to say that since I get to use groups, that the Junior Mafia just gets thrown in as a group,
and that includes Biggie Smalls,
that's Biggie and Lil' Kim,
right?
And Nicki Minaj, and that's my list.
No, Nicki Minaj is in it. Oh, and Nicki Minaj is your fifth.
She's on my list.
You better back the fuck up before you get smacked the fuck up.
So just to recap, I'd say
Bad Boy Killers.
For solo artists, I give it to Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj, right? And then I got the Dog Pound Gang, the Wu-Tang Clan, and the Junior Mafia.
We're not talking about Bone Thugs and Harmony, which is
that would be my group top five.
I think I forgot how much I do like rap.
Bone Thugs were good because they had a super unique sound that couldn't be reproduced by anybody else. Period.
Right, and they had 3 good albums. They had 2.5 good albums.
The only person who
they rap together,
possibly join or replicate the Bone Thugs and Harmony would be like the Micro Machine guy. He talks so fast, that dude. He could probably go toe to toe with those.
He's still alive.
He was Blur from the Transformers movie in the 80s. He was the voice of Blur.
All right, and what was yours again? Your top 5?
Mine was Biggie, Tupac, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and who was the last one?
Was it Jay-Z?
No.
No, Kanye didn't make it.
That's right.
No. It was I forget.
Andre 3000 and Outkast were runners up, but they couldn't make the list. They can't keep up with these other people I'm talking about.
Well, they haven't made an album in 10 years plus probably at this point.
There's some interesting stuff going on in rap music now. Like, wasn't Machine Gun Kelly a rapper, and now he's kind of doing like this punk kind of thing, like pop punk?
He just never really caught on as a rapper, and now he's a punk rocker.
He didn't really catch on as a rapper?
Nah.
So what do you
He battled Eminem for a little bit. Yeah, he's famous. He was famous enough to become famous. He was good enough to become famous.
He played Tommy Lee in the Motley Crue movie.
He was great.
And he really put himself as a rock star. And I think I bet that influenced him a little bit.
I was about to say, that's probably...
I think that definitely influenced him.
He probably was like,
cool.
whoa, these guys were something else.
Yeah.
These guys were fucking something.
Not like raps. Like, I mean, there's something different about rock stars, I think. And like, I think maybe it just influenced them a little bit.
Right, and he also like... He probably saw an opportunity to fucking jump in and try something new.
And that would catch people's eye. Yeah.
So this is what I can...
I'm going to start listening to it because I haven't listened to it much yet.
This is what I can tell you, okay? When I was growing up as a kid, MTV was like totally... They didn't have any reality TV shows. They didn't have it. You had VH1 and MTV, and they were both music video television. That's what MTV
They had like The Real World.
Yeah, but that was like a thing that they added later on. When MTV originally came out, it was just
you're talking 80s.
Raw music. Then as time came on, they're like, oh, let's get into some other markets. Let's get a show going here. Let's do that. And then eventually it became like more reality TV and bullshit than music. But what I can tell you about the music was this. Early on, it was dominated by rock. All right? You had like Aerosmith, fucking Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, all these guys dominating MTV, right? LL Cool J maybe got a video every once in a while, right?
Well, there's different like viewers for different things too.
I know, but I'm just telling you, these were the two these were the two mainstream platforms for music on the TV, right? And then somehow, somewhere, like you start seeing grunge take over, like, you know, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all these other guys start taking over, and hard rock kind of.
There were more genres back then,
Metallica starts kind of getting Metallica, and those guys start kind of getting phased out, right? And then slowly but surely, and then fast forward the camera to today, and it's all hip hop.
Yes,
I mean
rock
it's
is very
somewhere in the 90s and the 2000s. It took over music, and MTV, that was it.
It's the number one genre by far.
Rock is very subculture now, and it's very.
I mean, like when they launch an album, they get the most sales versus like in other words, like Led Zeppelin might have total album sales of, you know, I don't know if this is a fact, but you know, I'm saying like they may have the best sales of any album ever. But they've also been around for fucking 70 years or whatever, people listening to their music, or 50 years or whatever. You're saying hip-hop's
number one genre.
Period.
Yeah, no, rock has more of a cult following now, and like, but there's no big bands coming out like they used to.
Rock,
like,
you mean?
Rock. It's very it's not mainstream as much anymore. There's still a huge following.
What about
when we go to concerts, it's going to be. Well, when we go to concerts, it's going to be packed and it's going to be a lot of fun. But like, you're just not going to see, like, my kids aren't listening to new rock songs.
Yeah.
They're listening to, like, I just want to roll it with a dab of ranch. You ever hear that song? Yeah. Yeah, they love that. Like, they don't care about my music. Like, my music is going to be like...
They'll get it when they're older.
Something's still cool about rock, and there's still people into rock at all times. Like, I'm defending it. But rap is just so fucking big now.
Right, and rap has changed a lot. Hip hop's changed a lot since all of our top fives besides Kendrick Lamar. Like, well, you guys didn't name one, and obviously you've stopped listening to.
It doesn't sound like it used to.
Right, it's different now. So
it's really weird now.
It's not really about
rap
talent.
Is kind of over, right?
I think so.
Bad.
It's still out there. Like, there's still major artists that are doing that. And
terrible.
But it's more like a sing rap too. Like, they sing their lyrics.
Yeah.
And
you don't know what they're saying though.
Some of it though, it sounds fucking great. And it's fun. But then others, I'm like, this kid sounds like he's a teenager, and I can't listen to this.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether he's sing rapping or real rapping,
you just can't relate to him.
Yeah, and I can't relate to his voice because I'm like, bro, your voice is still changing.
Balls haven't dropped
yet.
And when you see him in the music video, they're like talking about chicks and money and stuff. I'm like, this guy's a fucking little kid.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they know. Yeah, these little homies on the internet the other day I was playing with, they're like, yo, bro, you trade that crypto? I'm like, nah, man, I grow fucking ganja, buddy. I was like, we don't mess around with anything online or trackable, fucker. But yeah, these little homies today.
But even how you get famous from hip hop is different.
These little youngsters, Sean.
When Wu-Tang was coming out, it was all about like getting on the radio.
Yeah.
And even like, I think, if you watch the Wu-Tang show on Hulu, season 2 is coming soon. I recommend it if you're a fan. Like, they were like, oh, we got to get on this radio station. And like, I don't even know this for sure, but I feel like maybe some neighborhoods listen to different radio stations. So like, you had to get it in. And maybe there's more radio stations in New York. So you're like, RZA was like, I got to get this on here. And then they put out a song and it's like, oh, who the fuck is Wu-Tang from? What does this mean?
All of a sudden you're on.
That's how they got famous. Like RZA got a song on, Jizza got a song on. They weren't known as Wu-Tang.
Bastard, Raekwon the Chef.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, they got them. He's on the record, he's on the radio. And that's how and they slowly build. And then it just blew up.
There ain't nothing to fuck with.
It just fucking blew up.
HOD, man. MET, HOD, man.
But now, then it went to like 50 Cent. Like, it was all about getting a radio and getting a record label and all that. And then 50 came out.
50 was pretty good.
But he came out through mixtapes.
He had a couple good ones.
Yeah, and he had classic mixtapes. And that's how he blew up.
Is Little Bit him and Little Kim?
Yeah, I think so.
What a good song. That's Baby making music right there.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I don't know, though. I forget.
Don't take your pants off just a little bit. Yeah.
But then now it's like people go on the internet and fucking put a song out. If it gets enough follows, you blow up.
Your Instagram followers, Twitter.
Don't hate on it.
No, I don't hate on it. I think it's just interesting to follow how you get famous now.
I just miss the time of buying an album and seeing the album cover art and like enjoying it when it comes out. You grab it and like you can't wait to go home and listen to it. I just think we're missing that, and our kids are missing that.
I agree.
I think it's nothing that we could fight, though. It's like technology just overtook it. Technology overtook records. People were saying that when we had CDs as kids, there were people saying, "Oh, I wish there were records still." They're coming out. So vinyl. But so like everything's gonna change, and the old people aren't gonna like it. Someday these kids aren't gonna like the new technology that comes out, and they're gonna be like, "What happened to YouTube?" And
I don't know, man. Once you go digital, what's after that?
Not they used to be
put it right in your brain.
It's gonna be like
you hear it, no one else does.
Yeah, like these kid people will be like, I used to listen to it on Spotify. And my fucking kid just listens to music right when they blink an eye and it changes the track.
It's like Napster. Napster doesn't exist anymore. And at one point, we were like downloading shit on
Napster.
LimeWire, yeah. I just miss albums. I like the actual like placement of all the songs and the album art and everything.
Yep.
You drop an album. Like, they're still dropping albums and stuff, but with names, but it's just not.
But it's not the same.
Not the same.
Like, you'd be like, oh shit, Method Man is releasing an album in 2 months. I know the exact date. Now it's like, Method Man came out with a new album.
You know what?
Yeah.
Do you know what hip hop?
They come out quick.
Or like, same with rock or anything.
Rob Zombie just came out with an album. It's awesome.
I don't want to leave it off the list. You know what hip hop I like? And I couldn't name you any specific songs or artists. But every once in a while, I'll hear a song in another language. Because I got that one Arabic hip hop song that I showed you that one time.
You know what I like? Modest Yahoo, is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
That guy who, he's cool. That cool. Israeli rapper or whatever he is.
I think he's American. He's just Jewish.
He's like Hasidic.
Yeah. Well, then you got Spanish rap, like in Espanol, and they've got some great stuff.
They got
Mexico, South America.
I feel
Brazil.
like they're very like the especially not just rap, but like just the Latin music right
Latin
now.
Jive, yeah.
Now listen, rap got so big in the 2000s that even rock was influenced by it.
Yeah, dude.
So like there's rap rock, Linkin Park.
It's Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, but Aerosmith.
He did a song with Method Man. Like
Aerosmith did
Walk This Way
with Run DMC. That was like
they had Walk This Way, and they did another version, right, where they did it with Run DMC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they had that music video with
so Walk This Way is Aerosmith's song.
There's an original song, Walk This Way.
Yes. And then Run DMC did a cover.
Yeah.
And they were like, if we're going to do this, let's do it with Aerosmith, because Aerosmith was still...
Yeah, so they kind of had like a rock-rap battle.
Aerosmith was like 70s, 80s, 90s. They have a 30-year reign of music.
I think the whole rock-rap battle type thing doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And there were also battles within rock itself.
Rap one.
Like metalheads, against punk, against grunge. And now there's just an appreciation for rock as a whole and the whole family tree of rock. And I think the same is for like... rap versus rock. There's no more battles anymore, I don't think.
Now it's like rap, old like golden era rap, which
First
we grew
Now.
up with first now.
Yeah. Now rap has its own kind of thing, like where like there's preferences. And I don't see how you can write like rap more now. You can appreciate it now, but I think rap was way better when we were younger.
Yeah, I think so too.
And not just because we're old.
But that's probably because like hip hop is like evolving it's not just the rhyming and the lyrical and the flowing, it's like it brings in the singing. And
let's not leave out K-pop and J-pop.
Right, I mean, I can happily leave them out, but I think
you don't like K-pop or
but
J-pop?
I don't, but like I think it influences American music.
Is it too happy for you? Like,
No.
Is it too like we're jumping around all happy?
I don't understand it.
I gotcha.
None of this music is going to go away ever. It's as long as we're here, this music, especially in our lifetimes, there'll always be rap, there'll always be
more
rock
access.
music, there'll always be everything, pop, everything.
It's good.
I think rock will make a comeback if it's just...
I think it could, because it's been such a downer.
Right.
I think it could. I think you just need kids going into the garage and starting bands again. That's all.
Right.
That's all you need. And it's open for the taking. Like this is a band that came out that sounded like Led Zeppelin. What are they called?
Greta Van Fleet.
Greta Van Fleet. They came out and like people were like, oh cool, new music by kids.
Right.
And like I don't see how other kids didn't see that and been like, oh, I gotta do this, start a band, because it's open for the taking right now to start a new era of rock.
You don't need
it is open.
You can just do it and put it on the air yourself.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are good bands coming out that are young, but I'm just saying it's open for the taking, and it's like a new,
Yeah, it's just how it's like different now. It's like there's EDM. Which has changed fucking everything.
This is not rap or rock. It's EDM.
What's
and
just
EDM?
like electronic dance music.
Oh, just
so
beats.
Like techno
house
music,
and there's some really rich like DJs that like I don't get it. I asked some young guy one time, I don't get it. Why do you like that? He goes, you would if you were on Molly. I'm like, okay, I guess I would. I think you're right. but because it just like gets into your soul, like that music, dum dum dum.
Right.
And it's
basic.
But even that
music.
that has really evolved a lot since like it's almost like pop music now.
Yeah.
Like it just mixes it.
Very
so now
mainstream.
you're hearing this shit on the radio, and then you go to a rave. You go to a rave.
I've been to a couple of raves.
I'd go to a rave, but I feel like I'm too old though.
I was the only one who wasn't doing Molly.
You have to be on drugs to go.
I was the only one not on drugs when I used to go to the raves. That was the problem. I didn't like them as much as I should have. Maybe all my friends were having like 10 dancer. times. I'm a dancer. My friends were having 10 times more fun than I was. I'll tell you that.
When I was on ecstasy, somebody told me that I'm one of the best dancers they've ever seen.
Wow.
I had zero inhibitions. And I can't dance.
That's a big deal.
They were like, wow, you were like one of the best dancers I've ever seen. They were serious.
Can I tell you that the inhibitions part is what makes people not good dancers?
Yeah.
Because when I was out at MJ BizCon, I'm a good dancer, confident guy anyway, but like I was whacked out on edibles and shrooms out in Vegas for the thing, and some kid was on the dance floor like all totally on ecstasy. I think he even had like glow sticks, and he was like dancing like that to like 70s and 80s like disco music and shit, and I couldn't handle it. I fucking went out and danced my ass off for like 5 hours, and people were like, I never knew you could dance like that. And I was like, it wasn't me, it was the mushrooms. They were channeling my
It
blood.
is inhibitions, yeah.
But yeah, it's inhibitions. If you just let it loose and cut loose, you have a good time.
You know what's interesting about our era of hip hop is that everyone coming out there were obviously people copying each other, but like they were all innovators.
A lot of original work.
Wu-Tang Clan, if you think about Wu-Tang, right? 9 members, all lyrically talented people.
Came out with some kung fu background.
They mixed
stuff.
kung fu. They mixed all their interests, kung fu movies with grimy street tales and some party stuff.
Mild.
Telling the truth, telling stories of the hood.
But they could
fucking kung fu movies.
They were talented lyricists too, though.
Just creative ass people.
Yeah, we were very creative lyricists too. The way that when you hear their rhymes, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like, how did that happen? And then you have Tribe Called Quest, who came out at the same time, totally different vibe.
I don't know what they sing.
Tribe is like a jazzy, like
Tribe Called
Quest.
It's
not really like gangster rap or hood music. It's just like social. No, I wouldn't say socially conscious. Life music.
Isn't that like Conan O'Brien's music guy?
Who? No, that's the Roots. So there's another one. The Roots. They were a jazz rap band that has evolved over time. Not Conan. It was fucking.
Conan's the best.
Not Conan. It was the other dude who's on late night now.
Seth.
Nope. Just regular, the Tonight Show.
Jimmy Fallon
is the Roots.
Good for that guy.
But then you're on the other side of the country, and you got fucking Dr. Dre, who came out of NWA, which is a crazy group.
Oh, dude.
And it's just insane.
Ice Cube's had like 3 kids movies he's made. You know what I mean? I'm like, this guy's a hardcore gangster rapper from the streets. He's in a kids movie now. You know what I mean? It's like
how do you make
people change?
So many hits, and then you're in the middle of the country, and you got Bone Thugs and Harmony in Cleveland. And then you go down to Texas, and you got the Ghetto Boys with Scarface, and then you're in Atlanta with.
I was gonna say we didn't even talk about Hotlanta.
That's right. Atlanta became the new New York after a while.
Is Nelly Atlanta?
Nelly's St. Louis. Yeah, Nelly. And like these people influenced the people that came out in like the mid 2000s, and now they influence.
It's tough to go top 5.
Outcast.
I was gonna say
Goody Mob,
Andre 3000, Outcast. They had some good tunes.
I saw some kid rapper shit on Tupac recently, or I don't know what the hell I saw. It was really disturbing.
Well, I'm sure we'll have some more talks on hip hop over the course of the show. You have any bizarre beyond belief? You want to talk about all the UFO stuff going on? Just a couple minutes. I'll throw out my just the tip, and we'll call it.
Can I just also add, like, look, we've kind of positioned ourselves as a podcast that talks about UFOs and things like that. Man, business is booming
for UFOs.
Yeah. So Deadline reported on May 29th,
mainstream,
which is yesterday,
mainstream sightings.
U.S. government UFO report using military intelligence may arrive as soon as next week. Finally, the truth may be out there.
Wow.
The Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense are expected to present an unclassified report to Congress on UFOs in June, with speculation that eagerly anticipated report could arrive as early as Tuesday, June 1st. The report from the Director of National Intelligence will be compiled from theretofore classified military files. The focus will be on whether the decades-long rash of experiences and contacts by fighter and commercial pilots, warships, and sources of unexplained phenomena constitute a threat to the U.S. That's happening, folks.
So I've seen...
Truth is out there. This is what this is. That's what they talked about in the X-Files.
So this report should be delivered by Mulder and Sully.
Here's the thing.
All right, my bone is back.
I love it when
Where do you go again?
I love it when they say we're going to give an unclassified report. Like who's declassifying it? You know, like how do you know you're getting the full story? But whatever. I don't watch the news, and so never does like CNN or Fox News show up in my suggested feed of things I might be interested in. You know, when my computer phone thingy tries to get me to look at it, it says, "Hey, would you like to learn about these things?" So my stream in the morning is always something not to do with these guys, right? And so last 2 weeks I've had what's his name? Fucking Tucker Carlson, is that his name? Is that a reporter?
Oh, I got some good stuff here.
CNN did it. Fox News did it. I saw all these other branches of major news companies, and they're all covering these UFO stories, like they were competing to cover these UFO stories all of a sudden, and basically I don't know why it's happening, but there's major UFO sighting activity going on around our military specifically right now.
So, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio asked for formal investigation.
Yes.
He's a senator, and he's basically saying we need to take this seriously, and he requested for call for an unclassified report on everything government agencies know about UFOs in the next 6 months. And Lou Elizondo,
he's a
former military intelligence officer who ran the unit called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, told the Washington Post that discussions on what's in the sky has been serious.
Yeah, but the guy that's the head of the Senate right now, who might be the head of the House, I'm not sure, but one of these guys is hardcore into UFOlogy. And basically, made it happen. He was he met a bunch of resistance from all these other senators. I heard this from Jeremy Corbell describing it. He said that the Senate Majority Leader, that's the position, whoever that guy is, he got in there and he said, "Hey, listen, we're doing all this other stuff, but from now on, we're putting this much money into finding out what's up with UFOs." And all the senators from the states are like, "Fuck you! I need more Medicare money for this, and I need money for these benefits." And they no one wanted to waste any money on it, and he just said, "Fuck you, we're doing it. Fuck you, we're doing it. Fuck you, we're doing it." And it took him 30 tries, and eventually they just made it happen. So, I mean, hopefully we're gonna not get any harm.
Well, that's the issues, right, with keeping it secret, because now all these guys and women are trying to stay elected and listen to their people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any time in my life where government officials were getting on TV and disclosing, saying that these are...
Listen, I know sometimes I come off as a fool when it comes to conspiracies, but this is a real one, and something is in our skies, and I don't think it's the Chinese or the Russians. I think nobody has any fucking clue. Oh, they're going underwater? These things can go anywhere they want. They can shut down anything they want. I think, and I hope soon, I really hope soon that we hear something, I hope they don't trickle out bullshit just to feed us something to keep us calm for a while.
I just hope it's good news.
I want good stuff where they're listen, we know we're being visited by something. We know they're coming from space. We don't know where they're coming from, but just tell us. Come on. Danny D wants to know. I don't know how many more years I have, motherfuckers.
Right. Seems like it's a,
just fucking tell us.
It comes down to 3 different schools.
I want some Hershey.
Me too. It comes down to 3 different schools of thought. You got, in the hot seat last week, we had my cousin Alex on. We asked if he believed in aliens. He immediately said no. I wanted
to expand upon that.
I couldn't believe you didn't, and I was gonna, but I was like, let's keep it pertinent to the facts. I feel
that is so what do you mean by you don't believe in aliens? You don't believe we're being visited, or you don't believe that in this nothing?
It was a broad question, but
also
the answer was
he may have never thought about it, and he obviously has.
How can you not?
He has been dealing with a lot of other.
I go outside every day and I look at the sky and I'm like, we're just this little blue rock. How can we not? I know like we've been programmed to be like religious and think we're special and stuff, and like to think that like, oh, we're this distance from the sun and blah blah blah. But there's gonna be a whole bunch of other planets that are in a Goldilocks zone too, and like maybe not every single one, obviously, but like you're gonna have like even if it's 1 in a million are in a Goldilocks zone that's like Earth, and then there's advanced like Earth, that's still countless infinite species and planets out there. It's just, I think it's really diverse. Just like Star Trek.
The numbers favorite.
I think we're just not privy to it, but I think it's just like Star Trek. I think there's a lot going on out there.
The three schools of thought are, some people think these guys are here to wipe us out and take our resources. Some people think they're like these like super sophisticated, gentle beings that are going to like help us along and shepherd our way through society. And then the other group of people thinks, well, actually, I guess there's 4 schools of thought now that Macka has introduced the perverts theory, which actually makes a lot.
That going mainstream.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, so I'm adding it to the schools of thought. But the other school of thought simply that they're just looking at us like we would go, like
it's like a tourist zoo.
Like we put like fake gorillas out there with cameras out in the jungle. It's like. They're just buzzing around, checking us out, and they're like, "Look at these things."
Yeah, they could live on a planet with like 5 different alien species on it, and like we're just like entertainment to them because the humans are they're advancing so fast, but like they're not ready to like know about us.
It's probably like
if they know about us and interact with us, it will slow them down like as far as their development goes on their own.
Like we'll make them dumber.
It'll make us dumber. Like
I don't
I just not dumber, but I think like it just it would put a halt to like I just don't think they want to mess with us. It's like not touching a certain rainforest. Like you don't want to be like have a human footprint there.
Maybe
because of certain species.
Yeah,
we're delicate maybe to them.
There's probably like rules.
There could be rules. There could be like a
you can't fucking go there.
Yeah, like what's it called, Chris, from Star Trek?
That's
the rule where you don't mess with
the prime directive.
Prime directive where you don't mess with other cultures. That's
pre-warp civilizations.
Yes.
That's the benchmark.
What could be exactly what they don't. We don't have light speed capabilities yet, or we don't have warp.
We have theories, but we don't have any working designs.
I think they look at us. I heard somebody say that like aliens look at us like we're ants. Like no, we have iPhones and shit. We're not ants to them. We're probably interesting as shit.
Yeah, but if
culture and comedy and history, but. At the same time, we're just probably not ready for what
if they were so far advanced beyond the stuff that we do with our time and our energy, they might look at us not necessarily like ants, but like as just some organism,
primitive,
something that's like we would look at people that live in the rainforest. We'd be like, wow, they're intelligent. They got all the tools are there. They're just not there yet.
They might look at like iPhones and Wi-Fi and all that stuff and be like, they know that it's like a predictable adolescent technology. Like they've seen it on other planets and stuff. Like where like. They eventually get when they're at the beginning of the technological advancement, they start to get things like Wi-Fi and like a little bit of space travel and stuff. But like they probably don't. They don't look at us like we're ants or anything. But at the same time, we're not like ready for their.
Well, I love Wi-Fi. And
what if? Let me ask you this: What if like on Tuesday the government comes out
June
and goes
1st.
Fox, Mulder, and Sully come out and. They're just reading the statement, and it was it's a ceremonial thing. And they say, all right, we're not going to tell you, but we're going to ask everyone to watch Star Trek Next Generation. What are the other ones? What are the other shows and movies?
You're talking about Star Trek?
I'm saying like this is how you find out.
Stargate. You have to watch Stargate's a big one. They have a bunch.
Galactic Force
Battlestar
that's out there.
Yeah.
It has been leaking information, and they're.
But then you got to decide what's fiction and what isn't fiction.
We've been leaking it to you.
I just want to know if there are aliens visiting us or not. Just tell us. Something's falling around these fucking F-18s, which are so F-18s are the best we have to offer as humans as far as like flight goes. Like.
Yeah,
and if they can't even keep up with these things, they turn on a dime, they go into the water, and if they can't do anything for 2 weeks, they got they're out there. There's nothing we can do about it. You're gonna see them.
Aerospace maneuverability.
Yes. So like, I don't think humans invented them. I think something is here, and people think it's such a stupid concept. Like, we need to make it so it's not a stupid concept, like that people can be like accepting, like, okay, we're being visited because we sit right out in the open in the boondocks of a Milky Way galaxy. Something could come by. And be aware of us. Like we send out radio waves.
I was going to say
the
massive radio emissions we're giving.
Oh my God, we're the loudest planet ever.
Well, I don't know about that. 'Cause I have nothing to compare us to.
They probably think like Hitler's our leader still.
Yeah,
that's just reaching them.
Yeah, like, oh, look at this guy. He's got a hair over his lip.
It's heavy stuff. Man, we really got you going.
Does he have
right now.
that everywhere?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we've known for so long, and we're leaking it out through TV.
Yeah, but
people get a cut.
People think the idea of aliens reaching us is absurd. Some people think the idea of aliens existing at all is absurd. Those people are fucking idiots.
Well,
you're a fucking idiot if you don't think any kind of alien species exists in the universe. If you think that, you don't know how big the universe is. Wow. There are more. Oh my God! There are 100 billion galaxies. 100 billion galaxies just in our visual scope, and each galaxy contains up to 1 trillion stars in each galaxy. That's 100 billion galaxies. That's a fucking Google
unbelievable.
More than every grain of sand on more stars in the universe than every grain of sand on every beach in the world. That's grains of sand. Each grain of sand is a star with its own planets. You stupid monkeys.
Hey, settle down there, right, bud?
All right,
sorry, man. You got
Outcast is an album called
so
AT Aliens.
We will keep we're obviously going to keep going with that. We're
going to have to update people next week on this.
Yeah, well, that's the idea, I'm going to throw out just the tip for this week, and then I guess we'll close it out. So, as with many technologies and philosophies on the planet, sometimes they pop up all over the place at once, independently, right? And so every once in a while, I've had a certain thought or philosophy that I've come up with where I've been like, I think this makes sense. And then, years later, I'll see it in a movie and I'll be like, son of a bitch, somebody else thought of it too. But this is focused on the guys. And it was highlighted in, I want to say, Sean William Scott did it in Role Models. And he's teaching the little kids the lesson of keeping eye contact with girls that have large breasts. And he's like, no, you cannot look at the boobs. He's like, everyone else is looking at them, so you can't. And so, guys, one of the tips is out there, and it's one of my original ones, but it's been obviously thought of by whoever was one of the creative writers on Role Models. Possibly even Sean.
Convergent evolution thought.
That's right. Possibly Sean William Scott even wrote it and put it in the movie himself, but because he's a funny guy. But yeah, when you find a girl that you like and she has big boobs, you got to use all your willpower to control your instincts to not look at those things.
You get to look at them and touch them later if you do it right.
That's right. So you got to look at that. Right. You got to maintain eye contact. And what happens is, girls with big boobs, they're just used to those things constantly being gawked at by other women, by boys, old men, old women, little kids, teachers. Everybody's looking
your eyes caught too.
Everybody's looking at these knockers.
You just get caught like they're a magnet.
Everybody's looking at these big things, and that is not your fault. You are genetically programmed to want to like those things. So, but you got to control yourself. And what happens is girls that have big boobs, if you start looking them in the eye and you're not looking at their boobs, like, hey, what's in their head? They're like, hey, what's going on? Why isn't this guy looking at my boobs? Why doesn't he like them? And then all of a sudden it flips the script and they want you to look at their boobs. And then they're like, hey, why don't you come play with these boobs of mine? Then we'll see if you can stop looking at them,
Why don't you soap them up and motorboat them?
Yeah, so try not to look at the boobs. Make eye contact at all times.
Together and hold them with one hand if they're not.
If you can do that for a long enough time period, eventually you could be the lucky individual that gets to play with those boobs in real life. And that's the it's like you're trading pleasure now for something later. You're like saving up for a better experience, basically.
Is the effect of just is it opposite for women with smaller boobs?
What are you asking me? Stare at their boobs? I think that's an excellent question.
I've never, because what if they don't have a big set of top
I've never thought of it, and it's an excellent question because it's the complete inverse of what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think flat-chested women are probably self-conscious that they don't have boobs, and they may not like you looking like, where's the boobs? Like, where are your boobs, lady? We have a friend who has a friend that had no breasts, and she got fake boobs and only went up to like 32 Bs or something like that. And I was like, that is the dumbest move of your life.
No, you should have gone big.
Yeah, go big or don't do it. But she didn't want to like go from nothing to these big, huge, hefty things.
She should have.
I know. That's why I said it was one of the biggest mistakes of her life, man. I wasn't kidding. Those things would have gotten her out of so much trouble. She would have had better job opportunities, less speeding tickets, just so many things. But
it is so much easier to be a
they do. They
nice
boobs rule the world, man. As they should. But I think it could work on the right flat-chested girl, but I don't know, man. She'd have to be deranged because you'd be looking at her like, hey. Like, imagine looking at a flat-chested girl and not looking her in the eye, but like staring at her boobs like you were staring at something. She'd be like wondering what's on her shirt. She'd be like, "What? Is there something on my shirt?" She'd have no clue why you were looking down there.
Yeah.
Like, girls that have big boobs are like constantly seeing people focus on that thing. You know what I mean? That's a bullseye for everybody.
Sometimes they flaunt them too with certain shirts, and that they don't want you to look. So
no, I mean, listen, if you've got it, flaunt it. Don't start telling girls not to flaunt their big boobs.
No, I'm not saying don't flaunt it. I'm just saying, like,
what it boils down to is they don't want like the 60-year-old like gym teacher guy like gawking at them. They want, the 18-year-old sports guy looking at them. I mean, they want to show them off to certain people and not to others. And unfortunately, you can't when you're out in public. You're wearing what you're wearing, right?
That's it.
You run. I mean, I don't know all the tricks.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, listen, thanks for listening in. If you have Instagram.
Listen to some fucking hip-hop.
Yeah, listen to some hip-hop if you have time this week, possibly from the late 90s to the 2000s.
It's the late 90s.
I completely lose track after that of what came out. But
91 to 2005.
That's the golden...
I think so.
That's what you described earlier as the golden era.
Let's have some NSYNC.
All right.
And there's still good stuff.
I don't wanna be a fool.
That's next week.
That's not rap.
Top 5 pop groups.
Okay.
That's boy bands?
I like
top 5 boy bands.
That's a guilty pleasure for me is I like boy bands.
All right. Well, all right. We'll see everyone later. Tune in next week. Maybe Dan will be abducted by UFOs on his flight out west.
So.
Later, skaters.